From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, life itself. I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
I'm Ken Napzok.
And I'm Jennifer Landa.
And with us today for this episode of Subjective Wars are two wonderful guests. They've been with us from our perspective as we record, for about 90 minutes. But from your perspective as an audience watching Subjective Wars, they've been with us for weeks, and it's beautiful, and none of us have changed our clothes. Please welcome Alex and Molly Damon of Star Wars Explained.
Thanks for having us back. This t-shirt's starting to smell.
We'll wrap this one up quick. But if you're going to have a shirt that smells, this is a really good topic for it. This episode of Subjective Wars, where we pick two interesting things and force ourselves to decide between them on metrics we make up while we are discussing it. The topic today is Chalmun's Cantina versus Garsa Fwip's Sanctuary. There's so many wonderful things to discuss about the quality of these two establishments, where we might like to drink, where we might like to fight, whatever you can do in a bar. Molly, I would like to start with you. Is this a gut reaction that you have a favorite as we sort of test the waters here?
Not really a gut reaction. There's definitely pros and cons for both of these places for me. Typically, I love a dive bar, so naturally I will lean more towards Chalmun's Cantina, but I feel like Garsa Fwip's Sanctuary is a lot more welcoming to a lot of different people. You know, I think she lets droids in, which is nice. And, you know, she likes to keep it chill in there. She's not letting anybody start any fights. Everyone's in there to just chill and relax. So I like that vibe a lot. So this might be tough for me.
Yeah, there's extremely different attitudes toward fights. One is just screaming and diving for cover. The other is a proactive measure to stop it from Garsa Fwip. There's so much there to discuss. But yeah, the dive bar versus slightly classier joint is kind of at the heart, I think, of the decision. Ken, do you have a favorite going in? Are you like, you've lived with the Cantina for years, so it's hard to pick, or you're so in love with the Sanctuary? Where are you at?
I'm in love with the Sanctuary, man. I'm in love with the Sanctuary, and I'm just going to say it now. I'm in love with Garsa Fwip. Like, this is where I go. This is my spot. And I love Chalmun's. And I'm like you too, Molly. I love a dive bar. I love a little spot where you can just hide in the shadows and see what's going on in the world. You know, I've never been in a bar fight. I don't want to be. But, you know, I wouldn't mind watching one every now and then. I've been up some spots in Santa Clarita where I was pretty sure those are just part of the admission fee is a bar fight. But I'm leaning to new school here, Garsa Fwip Sanctuary.
And Alex, how about you? Do you have a leaning?
I feel pretty split on this. It's kind of like our discussion with the Falcon and the Ghost, where I like watching Chalmun's Cantina. I like being able to experience that vibe through my TV screen. I would not want to be in a dive bar like that. The dive bars we go to, everyone's like really pleasant and nice. I don't think I could handle going to that kind of dive bar.
Is it? Now, I know what you mean, but it is funny to me of like, let's all agree to have a very friendly, rough, dangerous place. Let's keep this rough, dangerous place friendly. We've all agreed. But I know what you mean. It's beer in a shot, and it's dark, and it's dank, and, you know, nobody's putting on airs. Yeah.
So I would feel personally way more comfortable hanging out at the Sanctuary.
Okay. So you lean towards Sanctuary as your initial...
I feel pretty split. I think it just depends on how today's discussion goes.
Okay, all right. Alex is up for grabs, everybody. he can change his mind. Jennifer, how about you? What's your initial leaning?
I'm leaning towards Chalmun's Cantina. I love a dive bar. I love that I can wear whatever I want. I feel like I have to dress up a little bit more when I go to Garsa's. I feel like it's more of a special occasion. I'd want to have Valentine's Day dinner or celebratory, whatever, drinks there. But then we might go to Chalmun's afterwards. I always come back to Chalmun's. That's my neighborhood spot where I can just disappear. In sweats.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if that's what Chalmun's phrase. You can wear sweats. This is great. When we were coming up with these topics, we came up with all the ones that we've recorded these and played over the last couple of weeks. I thought, hey, Ghost versus Falcon and the Cantina versus Sanctuary, those are real different topics. But now they're feeling similar to our discussion, as was pointed out, of like, do you want the old, broken down, full of charm thing from the original trilogy, or the actual nice thing from more modern Star Wars storytelling? This amazing coincidence. Yeah, I Cantina, I have such deep love for the stories that happen there, and I do like dive bars. But these days, I would rather, when I go out, have a nice martini and go to a place where, like, when I walk in, it's not even about the vibe. It's about literally like looking at the bar, the actual alcohol. And like, is this a place that has vermouth, which you need for a martini? And is it a place where if I ask the bartender to make a martini, they'll be like, sure, I have some ideas. Let me make you my special martini. Or like Wu Hair, will they look at me like they want to murder me? Because what they do here is pull tabs and pour shots. And I've brought my fanciness, my unwanted fanciness, into their establishment. I feel like Wu Hair might just shoot me with a blaster if I ask for a martini.
It feels kind of like the Novotel bar where you ask them for a fancy drink and they're like, I don't think so. Let's get this moving.
We pick a 2 ingredients at most, and even though a martini only has 2 ingredients, that's still a step too far.
It's a craft cocktail more so. Garza's offers craft cocktails, and Wuher's place, or Chalmun's Cantina, offers more like a Jack and Coke. You keep it simple and you keep it moving. You know,
and probably like a huge vat of pre-mixed Jack and Coke that Wu Hair mixed like 2 months ago. It's massive. I gotta go stir the Jack and Coke.
He's got some moonshine. He's got all sorts of stuff back there, which could be interesting.
Yeah, but I think
the
like
cocktail aspect is definitely one that I feel like would also sway my opinion, because Joseph, I agree with you. If I want like a nice cocktail, I'm gonna go to GARSA'S. If I'm just there for a shot and a beer, I'm going to Chalmun's.
So. You're all unlocking like deep legend stories that I haven't thought about in forever. But in Tales from the MOS Eisley Cantina, I believe Wuher takes Greedo's head and puts it in something and makes a drink out of it. And that's a health code violation. I don't think anyone should be drinking what Wuher has a vat of.
Yeah. And GARSA'S not like using that Trandoshan's arms to stir things, not being like, hey, I wonder if I put this Trandoshan arm in this liquor, if it'll regrow something.
But price, think about you're going to pay double at GARSA'S versus Chalmun's. It's going to be a lot cheaper for the Greedo head punch.
Yeah. The Greedo head punch. Yeah, I do. So I have a Sanctuary bias, but we're getting into the thick of which one we would rather go to. So that does seem to be our first natural metric. Ken, I think you're coming at this from a place of love of all of the storytelling at the Sanctuary. Garsa Fwip is an amazing character. Her speech to Chrysanthemum is beautiful, high mark Star Wars that I know you love. But for yourself, about if you really could walk through a magic portal and have a drink at either of these places, where are you going?
I am now currently going to GARSA'S Sanctuary, without a doubt. Now, if they, if Galaxy's Edge expanded and they had a real life cantina in there, we have the Scum and Villainy bar near us in Hollywood, which is loosely based off of the Mos Eisley Cantina. Chalmun's there, and it's great. It's fun to go there. Great tater tots, by the way. I like going there, but there's just something about the Sanctuary that the word works, and you're right. It's hard to separate the storytelling. I do love the character of Garsa Fwip and what she brings to the story. Tragic loss to the story, I think, too. I just think she's a great new character. That speech is one of my favorite moments in the last 5 years of Star Wars. So I'm going there, but in trying to put it to real world and me walking in there, you and I, Joseph, and I'm sure it was going to come up at some point. I'll broach the subject first. You and I have a shared experience growing up of what Wu Hair and the bar did to us in real life, but I've worked through that. And short story is, I think every bartender treats me like that when I walk in. So I did not know how to act in bars. I didn't know how to order drinks. I was intimidated, and I thought Luke Skywalker almost got killed for this. I can't. So that when I was in my early 20s and I was a late bloomer heading out to these spots, I had that in my mind. I've worked past that. I'm pretty good in bars. I'm pretty comfortable in bars, but I like what Garsa's offers, which is true sanctuary, community. You walk in, they know your name, they want you here. It might be a little more expensive, but you got good people around you. You got some live music going. Yeah, I know you do at Cantina as well, but I just feel at home there.
Mm-hmm. You make the great where everybody knows your name point, the famous lyric from the theme song for Cheers, celebrating the warmth and the safety of a friendly drinking establishment. And for years, I think people have made a sort of Cheers Chalmun's mashup joke because those were both in the pop culture. But in some ways, GARSA'S is much more like a friendly version of where everybody knows your name. And I feel like in the Cantina, if people know your name, it's probably because there's a bounty out on you. And it's not that welcoming.
Yeah, there's a reason we went almost our entire generation of fandom's lifetime not knowing his name was Boshek, right? It wasn't until later. We didn't need to know his name. Need to know basis.
Yes, which you should remember because you've got a good Boshek vibe, Ken.
Yes. I think that's good.
It's a compliment from me. It's a compliment coming from me. Molly, you were saying that you would. Which one would you drink at? If you could walk through a portal, which of these would you drink at?
I would probably want to order a fancy cocktail from GARSA'S Sanctuary. Mm-hmm. I think they probably are overpriced, but hopefully they're well made and worth the price. I'm also thinking of who has the better bar trivia here. I love a good bar trivia, and so
and we would crush because all trivia is Star Wars trivia.
In Star Wars. In fact, you would frighten people with what you know. Like
that's a great point.
How did you think it's an easy question that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker? It's fine. You know?
What happens to Ilum?
I love that.
I feel like GARSA would pride herself on doing different types of trivia, having different people in there hosting trivia. And, I don't know if Chalmun's, if anyone there is interested in playing bar trivia. And if they did, they would probably beat. So
I've been in those ones where you look around at the end of the game and it's like you and another table are playing and everyone else is out. They're done.
Yeah.
Alex, for the portal question, you go into which one?
I also think I'd choose the Sanctuary because I don't know for sure that I want a nice cocktail, but I want the option. And I'm sure the Sanctuary also has like a cheap beer if that's what I wanted to go for.
Oh yeah.
So I can pick and choose, especially if I only get like limited time to be there. I think I'd feel like there were better options and more options at the Sanctuary.
Yeah. Jennifer, how about you for the portal question?
I would go. I'm the only one. Chalmun's Cantina, and the reason why is because I feel like GARSA'S is more like see and be seen. It's like the Chateau Marmont here in Hollywood or a Hollywood club.
That's big accusations.
I mean, listen, because they might even put up like a rope outside. Am I going to even be able to get in? I know at Chalmun's, I'm not a droid. I can get in, right? And I can just be me. I don't have to worry about like nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to look at me. Like, it doesn't matter. I just blend in the background. But GARSA'S, I do feel more like there's going to be a lot more celebrities, like Star Wars celebrities there.
I mean, can I want to refute a little bit. I think you're confusing clean for exclusive. I think that's what's going on.
Casino. I'm in the Canto by Casino, not.
Yeah, I mean, it's still Tatooine, right? It was
right.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. You're still getting clientele of all different kinds. Yeah, I think the thing that would tip it over for me, I would walk through the portal and I would go to Sanctuary. And yes, it is about like what kind of bizarre space cocktails does GARSA Whip have? But I think it's also that in the real world, I have got a tiny taste of Chalmun's between like the Scum and Villainy pop-up, which is now a normal place that I can walk to if I want. The Oga's Cantina in Galaxy's Edge is it's not Chalmun's, but it's a little bit more on the Chalmun side. It's kind of a family-friendly dive bar, but it's a little bit of that vibe. And GARSA'S, maybe GARSA'S was like the bars on the cruise ship, the fake the Star
the Halcyon.
The Halcyon, yeah. I haven't experienced that, so I'd want to try to experience that. I think the other controversial thing we need to talk about, and Jennifer's already ready to go, is music.
I knew you were going there. I knew it.
Yeah.
All right. So talk to me about music, Jennifer.
This is where I really don't know, because the modal nodes set the standard, no pun intended. I know they're going to always play good music.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the other side, we got Max Rebo, right? I don't know, but they're only a trio. They're not, right? There's only 3 of them.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going with modal nodes.
This
100%.
is a whole separate episode of Subjective Wars that we're now trying to cram in.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's
true.
music versus whatever.
Yeah.
Ken?
Yeah, I'd love the wailing of some jizz, man. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. And clip that out all you want. I mean, it's not that I don't love Chalmun's. It's not that I could be pushed off GARSA'S Sanctuary a bit here. And I think going back to what you're saying, Jen, earlier when I was trying to refute in general, but I think the vibe, there's a little bit of perhaps some gentrification going on with GARSA'S. I'm not accusing her of some of the negative aspects of that, but it might. What was it before? Was it a complete? Was it called the Pit? Like Slash's Snake Pit on Sunset here? Or Melrose? Was it called the Pit and she cleaned it up too much? I don't know. Maybe that's what you're feeling. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. But when it comes to the music, I do think it's a little. This is nothing against Max. I should have worn my Play It Again Max Brian Ward T-shirt. That would have tipped my hand too much. But I do think that the modal nodes, figuring down the modal nodes, man, like that, I'd have to experience that once.
Yeah, this one is a nightmare to me because I want to see the modal nodes. I want to be able to dance to the classic songs. I'll probably get shot if I dance. I don't think dancing's allowed at Chalmun's.
Do you sit or stand at Chalmun's?
I sit very quietly in the corner and pay someone else to order my drink from Mujer. That's how I handle Chalmun's myself. I want to experience that music, but to see an astromech drummer. The astromech drummer is one of my favorite characters in modern Star Wars. It's so cool to see how it all works up close. And I could probably ask the droid for an autograph afterwards. I don't think I can ask the modal nodes for an autograph. But Molly,
that's a good point,
how does the music affect you in these two establishments?
I don't think I could pass up getting to see Max Rebo play live. That would be a life-changing experience for me, I think. Especially
and I think this is the better place to see him.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Which that's true. Like, I don't know that these bands are solely playing at these locations every single day. They might pop around a little bit, but especially if Max Rebo has that voice that he has in the audiobooks and the Lego games, just like that
and Robot Chicken.
Very sensual voice.
He's
Can you do an impression of his sensual voice for those of us who are maybe not as familiar with Max Rebo's?
Alex.
Oh man, I gotta get to the gig.
Oh no!
Listen to his audiobook story from the certain point of view. Return of the Jedi, right? Yeah. It's hilarious.
Okay. All right. Alex, how are you affected by the music choice?
Look, I love the modal nodes, but they're basically a one-hit wonder. We've got 2 songs from them ever. Max Rebo has 3 in Return of the Jedi alone. If you count
one of them people really dislike, right?
Whatever, it's a bop. And then he's got like another 1 or 2 in the Book of Boba Fett. So I want to go see Max Rebo. I also love the little drummer droid. I'm Max all the way. I have a ton of Max Rebo merch. I don't think I have any Biff.
Yeah. You don't have any impressions of their sultry voices. Yeah. Oh, but I mean, I would be. It's Mad About Me and Dune Sea Special, right? Those are the 2 Cantina band. Modal nodes.
Mad About Me. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would be so mad about life if I risked my life at Chalmun's Cantina to see the modal nodes and they did not play Mad About Me. Like, that would be horrible. I would be stoked at. I would rip some arms out.
Or worse, they're not there. You walk in, it's only Toro Calican in a corner. Humming.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Toro Calican with a space guitar. That would cause me some violence.
Now,
All
if
right.
Dr. Mandibles is there,
Yeah, well, see,
I'm
that's what I was,
interested.
yeah, that's where I want to go next. Is we've talked about vibe, we talked about music. Now we can talk about clientele. Like, which one would we want to experience based on who is in it? And we all agree that Chalmun's is a little scarier. There's some rougher clientele, but like with Dr. Mandibles, is like I can't pass up seeing somebody that weird. For me, I'd love to see Kate. Molly, which one has the clientele that you want to meet and smell in real life?
Well, it feels like at Chalmun's, that's the kind of dive bar that you might try to go to and see a celebrity sighting, maybe that a celebrity that it's trying not to be seen. A celebrity would go to GARSA'S to be seen. If Han and Chewie are there, they're thinking like, this is our place, this is our hangout spot. But like, if I saw them there, I'd be like fangirling out and I'd get kicked out probably.
That would be if we walked into Chalmun's just as us, we would weird everyone out. Be like, oh my God, it's Mufftack. Like, why do you care?
Right.
Is Lax Sivrak here? Are we in that reality?
Yeah.
Right.
That's so great. Alex, do you have? I know you want to see Max Rebo, but for other clientele, is there anybody that tips you into wanting to be in the cantina?
Yeah, I think I like the characters that you would see in Chalmun's more.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Black Chrysanthemum is probably the most like interesting person that walked into the sanctuary from what I can recall in Book of Boba Fett. But everyone, well, yeah, everyone in Chalmun's is like they clearly have a story to tell, and that's why like they got a whole book of short stories about them. That's why, from a certain point of view, spent so much time in the cantina, is because every single one of them sparks the imagination. So I'd want to hang out with them and just like cross my fingers that no one lost an arm.
Arms have been lost in both establishments, so they're
true.
even up there, right?
That's fair.
They're even up there.
Do you prefer lightsaber or Wookiee pull? Jennifer, creatures are so close to your heart. Aliens. Is this a big vote for Chalmun's for you as well?
Oh yeah, 100%. I love to people watch, or in this case, I guess, alien creature watch. And I think part of the fun of it when you go to any dive bar is seeing who are the regulars that go every week. What is their story, right? That's what I would be interested about, either learning about or making it up while I'm watching them, sipping my drink. It's so entertaining.
Yeah. And now, is it just that I mean, the Sanctuary had great background characters, but is it just that we're desensitized to like, we recognize all of those aliens, whereas the Cantina, since it was, canonically in our real world, the first was the explosion of new and weird, and we've lived with it for a long time. So is it that the actual background aliens are more interesting, or just we have a longer relationship with them as opposed to the Sanctuary is just like, yep, that's a Trandoshan, seen it.
Yeah. I think it's a longer relationship kind of thing, especially like you said, some people know those aliens by different names because that's what the toys were called before they had names. So I think it's just something from childhood.
I really love Alex's thought of just shocking people. I want to walk into the canteen and go, "Where are your flippers, Walrus Man?" And
which hands do you have?
Right. Show me your hands.
Show me your hands, Walrus Man.
Right.
People would be going up to Max Rebo asking to see his butt crack.
Oh yes.
Show me your butt, Max. Yeah.
Peeking around.
Do you have just legs or arms and legs? Stand up
You
right
say
now.
that there's a special room for that in the back.
Ken, which clientele do you want to see?
See, this is where I'm being pushed off a little bit, and I didn't expect it. And quite frankly, Jen, you might have won the argument because now I'm starting to see where you were going with it. Where it's a vibe check. I do believe. Look, just out of the story, we've spent so many decades, quite frankly, with Chalmun's that we're just more, familiar with those characters, so we want to spend time with them. I get that, but putting that aside, I take it in the real world. 2 bars that I've spent a lot of time at different eras of my life. One, you know well, Joseph La Poubelle, and that's a spot where like I accidentally shoulder checked Justin Long at the height of his Justin Longness. Right, that was a place for, but there wasn't going to be a conversation with him. Not that he was unapproachable, but it was like, oh my God, it's Justin Long. This other place I used to go, Timmy Nolan's Pub in Toluca Lake, which is now gone. Keanu Reeves was a regular there.
Wow.
And no one dealt with him as Keanu Reeves. It was like Keanu. And Jim Mora, retired NFL coach, were there. And he was just at the bar answering questions and hanging out. And I think that's Chalmun's a little bit. Where to Jen's point, I don't know if a red rope is going up at GARSA'S, but I think I would be like, ooh, do not approach Fennec Shan. She just wants to be left alone. Oh, but
Right.
where Chalmun, she'd be like Fenny. She'd be in the corner, but like, that's Fenny. She's here. She likes this, and I lean towards Chalmun's for that. I'm trying to hold the GARSA'S sanctuary, but I'm leaning towards the vibe of Chalmun's.
I like the argument that you're making, where a dive bar is the comfort there is where everybody pretends they don't know your name.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody leaves you be. All right. I think there's one other very important factor we need to consider here as we head toward making our final decision. And that's looking at the Wikipedia entries for these 2 places. They both have some good sentences. Chalmun says, although a dimly lit tavern known for frequent outbreaks of violence, it was a popular stopping point for pilots, smugglers, bounty hunters, aliens, misfits, and renegades. So the violence seems to be a big part of the charm. But this is very important about GARSA'S sanctuary. The establishment was complete with a bar, gambling tables, and live music, and was even alive with helmet cleaning.
Good old helmet cleaning. And you can get your Gamorreans washed.
So does the advanced services offered at the sanctuary, Jennifer, does helmet cleaning and Gamorrean washing factor into your decision?
No, not at all. It's like when I go to the mall and they have a car wash service. I'm going to the mall. I don't need to have my car washed. I'll go to a car wash if I want my car washed. I'll go to a helmet cleaning place if I want my helmet cleaned.
I'll go to the Gamorrean showers if I want my Gamorreans cleaned.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a grooming salon.
Yeah. Molly, does the all the cleaning services offered at GARSA make any difference to you?
No, that just, to me, it sounds like just people wanting tips. I'm going to just like pass on all of that stuff.
Yep. Yep. Alex, do you need anything cleaned?
No, I feel like that's actually a mark against the sanctuary, because I don't want to have to say, no, I don't want my helmet cleaned or my Gamorreans washed. I'm just here for a drink. Like, I don't want to be bothered other than that. So that's a good point.
Yeah. Stop upselling me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you need your hat cleaned at GARSA'S sanctuary?
These hats are out of print, by the way, this particular cut of the hat. So yes, I do want my hat cleaned because it needs to be cleaned. I only have one left. I'm trying to look, and as someone who worked at a mall that did offer valet and car wash, and have you tried it, Jen? Have you tried it?
No, I have not. But it's expensive. It's more expensive. Yeah.
And often shady employees are hired by these contract companies. That's all I'll say. God, I'm trying to hold to the GARSA sanctuary here, and you're all beating me upside the head with your dirty helmets.
All right, let's all look inside our dirty helmets and see what our true answer is. Jennifer, I feel nothing has moved you even slightly from Chalmun's Cantina.
I'll just say which one is still standing.
Oh, wow.
I was looking at the Wikipedia for GARSA'S Sanctuary, and under appearances, the chapter 7 of Book of Boba Fett, it just says in parentheses, wreckage only.
Oh,
Just wreckage.
And in the last couple of weeks, Jennifer Landa has danced on the graves of dead movie critics, and now the sanctuary.
You guys, I don't know. Maybe it's
Not a lot of sanctuaries around these days.
my culture.
All right. Well, that's a clear vote for. I like that. That's the whole sort of like Roach vote. Like it survives anything. Chalmun's is still standing,
Still standing.
filthy as it is. Ken, I'm going to come back to you because I know you've been tortured.
I'm
Alex,
tortured.
where are you at?
I think I'm actually leaning towards Chalmun's now. I am still curious what cocktails they have at the sanctuary. And I would be probably scared the entire time I was at Chalmun's, but I still want to give it a shot.
Yep. Yep. I'll go because I think I'm gonna stick to Sanctuary. It's really, really hard to pass from Chalmun's. But I think the thing for me is the dive bar. There are dive bars I'm really comfortable at, and then there are dive bars where like, oops, no, this really is for the neighborhood, and everything about me is screaming, I don't belong here. I'm disruptive. I'm just trying to order a whiskey and get out as quickly as possible. But I've had like the real world experiences that are similar, but the sanctuary, I know I'm going to be able to have a conversation with the bartender. They're going to make me some weird cocktail that I've never been able to have. I'll never have again anywhere but that place. I can have months old Jack and Coke anywhere, and I'll get to see the little drummer droid, as Alex said. So I gotta go with Sanctuary, as painful as it is. Which brings us to Molly's vote. We got, I think, 2 for Chalmun's, 1 for GARSA'S Sanctuary. Where are you at?
I really thought I was going to go Garsa on this, but I think I'm saying Chalmun's. I think my love for dive bars is kind of taken over here. And I want to be able to go into a place where they probably have picklebacks for me, and I can buy a round of picklebacks for whoever else wants one, and then hopefully make some new friends.
That's true. On my friend's bar crawl, I started a tradition where we all get watermelon shooters at this one place, and everybody loves and hates this tradition. And I bet Chalmun's has watermelon shooters. Ken, the pressure has been taken off. GARSA'S has no chance. It has already been blown up in a voting explosion. You can just follow your heart, and it won't change things.
I still blame Mock Shays. Look, like I think I'm still fighting in my soul for GARSA'S being more of a clean dive than a highfalutin place, but there's been a lot of cases presented, a lot of evidence in this case today presented against GARSA'S. I still absolutely love it, but maybe I'm starting to face the truth, Joseph, here that I need to maybe conquer the fear that Wu Hare and Chalmun's put into me. This is, I've mentioned before in the show, but the Double Down Saloon in Vegas, where their drink of their watermelon shooters is called ass juice. It's a different vibe there, and we got challenged. Our table got challenged, where a local looked at us and just said, "This place is going to hell," as he stared at all of us waiting to do something. And I got a friend who've never returned, but maybe I need to. Maybe I need to go back to Chalmun's, where everybody doesn't really want to know your name. The music is great. And you know what? I don't ever order fancy cocktails. I'm a rum and Coke guy. That's all I need. Bottom of the barrel rum's fine. I think you all convinced me. I think Chalmun's my answer.
Well, there you go. Ken is going to go. What's that?
Get Ken Greedo's ass juice.
You can go to Chalmun's and everybody will leave Keanu Reeves alone while he drinks Greedo's ass juice. I think that's a solid, sensible. Well, you've all made me ashamed because, I'm not going to say a martini is a fancy cocktail. It's two bleeping ingredients, and it's the T-Rex of cocktails. If a place that has cocktails, they have a neon picture of a bleeping martini. It's not anyway.
I mean, it's not a fancy cocktail until you try to order one in London, which I've witnessed, and it doesn't go well.
It's not a fancy cocktail until you have one made terribly, and then you're like, this takes some finesse.
I have had experiences where I've asked dive bars, "Can you make a martini?" And they're like, "I'll figure it out." And then, my God, what did you put in here? It's amazing. It's amazing. I was just going to wrap up by saying it is funny that we all talked about our different levels of fear. You guys are all going to Chalmun's. I'm going to the Sanctuary, and I'm the one who's going to get blown up. You guys are all going to have a good time without me. Very, very sad. Anyway, that is our big look at Chalmun's Cantina versus GARSA Fwip's Sanctuary. Ken, you want to take us home?
I do. This is a Force Center podcast feed, and we can be found on a lot of spots. Just search, you'll find us. We're on Twitter and Threads at Force Center Pod, Facebook page is Force Center Podcast, Instagram, YouTube. You might be watching here. Hit that bell, subscribe if you would like to. You can also support us directly at patreon.com/Force Center. Also, merch available at tpublic.com/Force Center. I still think you can get the prequelist shirt. This is an old school shirt that I'm wearing here. Pulled it out of storage and showing it off here today. So go there if you want merch. Follow me at Ken Napzok or my website, kennapzok.com. Joseph, where can they find and follow you, sir?
Yeah, you can find me on all the social media. My handle is at Joseph Scrimshaw. Unless it's somehow collapsed, please find me on Blue Sky. I'm enjoying the vibe there. It's the Garza Flip sanctuary of social media sites.
It kind of is. Jen, what dive bar are you tweeting in?
You can find me on all the social media sites at Jennifer Landa or TikTok, which kind of is like the fun dive bar at Jennifer Landa 1138.
It's a clean bar indeed. Alex Molly, thank you as always for joining us. We love hanging out with all of you here. Links down below where to find them. But anything you want to highlight and anything we need to know as you sign out?
Not really. We're just at Star Wars Explained, talking about Star Wars on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Molly?
You can find me at Molly Damon on Twitter, Molly Mander on Instagram. Star Wars Explained, talking Star Wars. We'll be covering The Bad Batch every Wednesday, doing live shows, talking about that. So that's what we got coming up. And you can also find me over on A Certain Point of View, talking all things pop culture.
There you go. There you go. Find us, buy us a drink, and maybe we'll serve you Greedo's head. We'll see you next time here on Subjective Wars on Force Center. Bye.